Hello and welcome back to Capcom Classics Collection Week. In this installment, it's Capcom's very first game they ever made. This is Vulgus, released in May of 1984. This game is extremely simple. Even the likes of 1942 is more advanced than this game. This game does not have any power-ups. It's a very basic scrolling shooter where you play as a spaceship and you shoot other spaceships. But it's certainly more advanced than games like, say, Space Invaders, but it's not really as advanced as what you might think from 1984. So anyway, with all that said, let's play the original version here. So here we go. So once again, this is a 1998 remixed version that includes bug fixes and things. So it also gives you the option to play it in its enhanced mode instead of the simple middle screen Tate mode. Now, even though this game doesn't have power-ups, it has that thing that right there that says POW, so you might think that that must not be true, right? But actually, what that works is that's actually like a cannon, like a secondary bomb shot thing. And you have a count in the bottom corner of the screen there of how many of those you have. The music is extremely repetitive. It's almost as bad as that 1942's original soundtrack is. But, you know, the game is actually kind of fun to play. It's kind of, you know, monotonous and completely, you know, just not really interesting all that much. But, you know, whatever. It's enjoyable to play enough. And you can send, your like... And, oh yeah, the other thing is those symbols, show up as enemies, those are like those, Capcom bonus items that are in all of Capcom's games. So there's my death, and you don't get any continues. You die, that's it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back. As this is the 98 remix version, it does have a sound remix option. So let's turn that on, and let's try Vulgus again. So there you go, enhanced music for Vulgus, because that's what Vulgus really needed, right? It does make the game a little bit more enjoyable, but you know, it doesn't change the fact that it's completely the exact same tune, and the tune is not interesting at all. I don't believe that there's a Famicom version of Vulgus. If there is, I've never played it, and I can't imagine it'd be good at all. Capcom's very first NES game was done by, I believe it was done by Tosei, and Tosei's ported over 1942. So I don't think at that time, you know, Capcom had a home division because they were outsourcing their stuff to a second party that was sort of a ghost developer. The game does support rapid fire, which I'm using right here by simply holding down the button, but you can just press the button just the same. It's not like this game has an extremely fast rate of fire like 1942 does, so there's no real advantage in having auto fire off, because you don't fire very fast anyway with it on. The only thing that it does is it just makes your thumb not get super tired pressing the button over and over and over. So, Vulgus is not a game I can really say that much about. It is what it is. It's a simplistic early shooter. You know, much like X'd Eyes on the collection as well. And, you know, Formation Z, those games just are not that interesting to play. They exist as parts of Capcom history that are important because they laid the foundation for better games that came out later. But really, they're not... It's not really anything that's super interesting. Like, there's not even boss battles. I'm just fighting the same 2 or 3 enemies over and over here. Oh, until I run into those Capcom shapes. Yeah, those things. The pinwheels. I forget exactly what they're called. I have to look that up later, I guess. But those things would appear in every single Capcom game as like a bonus item Easter egg thing. In this original first Capcom game, they appear as enemies, which is bizarre because, you know, you think of them as like a bonus item that you want to collect, but here you want to shoot them down. Alright, I'm into space. The one thing that is kind of interesting here is, even though this is a Tate shooter, it has a very wide range where you can move your craft. Scroll left to right, I mean. It's not like you're limited to just as wide of a screen as the screen is wide. You have a larger playfield than that. And for a Starfield from an early 80s game, you know, the Starfield here is not that bad. You get actual things that look like galaxies and nebula. Nebulae? Maybe that's the word. Plural of nebula. Nebulae? Nebulas? I don't know. But this is kind of neat. It looks like we just entered another planet or something. The planet that doesn't not have any atmosphere. Hey, but different enemies this time. Although they're pretty much all exactly the same enemies, but whatever. Different. At least they're not palette swaps. Well, anyway, that'll about do it for this video. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions about this game here, feel free to leave those in the comment section down below. Capcom Classics Collection Week is going to continue to wind down with the last few 2 games that we'll be covering very soon. So until then, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this game, you know, let me know. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll just go with Sato. Yeah. Vulgus. Capcom. Their first game. Pretty neat.